Hello, this is Toby the Galactic Intuitive. How are you guys doing today? Thank you so much for being here. We are going to continue our conversation about 3i Atlas in today's video. And I wanted to thank you guys so much for all of your interaction with your likes, your shares, subscribing to the channel, all the comments about the last video. I have so enjoyed reading your comments and learning about your perspectives and your experiences, chatting back and forth with you. It really, it's been amazing. And I really look forward to more of that. Thank you so much for being here. You guys are so welcome as part of this community. And I'm just so grateful to have you here. And some of your comments are exactly what has inspired this video. So a few of you have mentioned and pointed out, and a friend of mine did as well, that there's no coincidence that 3i Atlas is called 3i, and it certainly does a lovely little point to the importance of our third eye and interacting with 3i Atlas. And of course that came through in the message yesterday about, that's truly what it was about going beyond our physical sight and allowing ourselves to be receptive in superdimensional sight form, and then what that means as well for the collective, and how that could potentially impact us and reveal things that have maybe previously been hidden or we just haven't seen yet. So, but to go further with that, the other comment that has inspired this video, one of you mentioned that the Atlas is the name of the bone at the top of our vertebrae, the top of our spine. I'm pointing back here because it, excuse me, it resides at the base of the skull. It's actually the bone that that our skull rests upon at the top of the spine. And in addition, that got me thinking about the chakra that lies there, the Alta Major Chakra. So I've known just a smidgen about that chakra, just because it's been something I didn't know anything about. But then as I got into channeling more, I would notice that that area of the back of my head and the base of my skull, especially when I was channeling the Galactics and higher, like 11, 12D galactic beings, there would be a lot of pressure in that area of my body. And not pressure as far as a blockage, but just pressure as far as the amount of energy flowing through it. And that could be rather intense. So as I was considering this and reflecting on the importance of that chakra and the galactic connection for me personally, I started doing a little bit more research on it. And it's actually, the Alta Major Chakra is actually known as the mouth of God. It is also known as the ascension chakra. It is utilized in being a conduit for cosmic energies and for divine messages. So it is no wonder that this chakra is coming up for us to discuss in relation to our last video. And so I mentioned to the lovely person who made that comment that, I think we need to do an activation for this chakra that works alongside the Superdimensional Sight activation, because that's going to help us to receive in those cosmic frequencies that are coming from 3i Atlas. And another thing in my notes was that it is a conduit for the divine inspiration and messages, and also allows for the integration, or assists, I should say, with the integration of cosmic energies into our physical and subtle energetic bodies. And so one of the things that we talked about yesterday was that we're receiving these wavelength manuscripts from 3i Atlas. However, we may not be, they may not be translated to us consciously, but holding the frequency of those wavelengths in our physical body and in our energetic bodies was really the most important part, because then it ripples those frequencies out into the collective, and that's actually helps to facilitate the revealing of the information that is coming through those wavelengths. So it may be an indirect revelation, so to speak, through receiving those wavelengths. So if we are activating and opening our ultimate major chakra, then we are providing an additional portal for reception of this information and these wavelengths from 3i Atlas. Someone else also asked me about I think it's R2 Swan, which is another interstellar object. I have started getting just a little bit on that, just enough to know that we will be talking about that. Not quite yet, though. It may be soon, but we'll just have to see. It's definitely coming. But right now, my guides, the 9, are adding in information here that it's this time period that we talked about in yesterday's message, from October to, from now, like early October to December. The process of that time is very important, and they actually indicated that this is part of the importance of 3i Atlas itself, and maybe the most important part. Certainly it's here to also help with these revelations and the revealing of information about humanity's history and origins. At the same time, concurrently, there is huge importance on the process that we are undergoing as individuals and through the collective in order to facilitate these revelations occurring. And so it is just as important for us to it is just as important for us to recognize that it's our own receptivity, and we talked about this yesterday too, but it's our own receptivity that is allowing for this to come forth, for these revelations to happen, because our energetic process with those wavelengths is part of the necessary, I hate to use the word process again, but the necessary process of those wavelengths towards that revealing. And something else that came up that, I'm jumping around here. The activation for the Alta Major Chakra. I will be working on that. Should have that to you guys in the next 24 to 48 hours at the most. It'll be available here. Well, I'll have a link, as I did for the Superdimensional Sight activation. So it'll be available through my website, but I will announce to you guys when it is ready, and it'll be in the description box for you guys to catch that link. Also, if you are interested in signing up for my email list, I'll put out an announcement on it there too, whichever is most easiest for you guys to access. It's up to you. I will be adding some more offers to the website over the coming week or so, and there will be discounts available with that too, and those will get announced through the newsletter email sign up. So that is a tiny additional benefit. However, either way, I'll make sure that you guys know that the Alta Major Chakra activation and light language transmission is when it's available and ready to go. So the other thing that I wanted to talk about is in relation to this process period from October to December, right? And this is the period in which we are receiving these wavelengths and this information from 3i Atlas. The other part of this is the actual process itself is just as important, maybe more important, than the messages that we're receiving from 3i Atlas. Actually, I know it's more important. So many of the messages I receive from the 9 are regarding utilizing my own discernment, and to share with you guys to utilize your own discernment and to prioritize our own inner knowing versus anything we're receiving externally. Well, now you may say that seems awfully contradictory from someone who is sharing messages all the time. However, oh, that was my ankle cracking. However, I would say I could see exactly why you would say that, except that the messages I share with you guys and the overriding intention behind sharing the messages and that I receive from the 9 is one of moving towards sovereignty. It's moving towards being that direct conduit oneself, being in direct communication with your guides, being in trust in what you're receiving, and being in trust in one's own inner knowing, and allowing that to be your safety net and not anything external to you. And so, as someone who delivers these messages, it is my purpose here to assist you as you move towards sovereignty. It's never my intention to inhibit that progress. It's always my intention to offer guidance and support and maybe inspiration and maybe some teachings along the way too, and activations and transmissions that help to move you along or support you towards your own sovereignty, towards making those direct connections yourself. And so this is, again, this speaks back to that message that we received from 3i Atlas yesterday. It's about separating from the external, the visible, the physical, right? And allowing ourselves to go within and utilize those energetic tools that we have to receive the information ourselves, and then to decipher that ourselves. And it may not happen right away. It's just as 3i Atlas has said with these wavelength manuscripts that we are receiving from it, that we may not be able to interpret those wavelengths into something that is describable using human language or even human emotion. But it's holding the wavelengths that's important at this point and allowing it to do its own work in being, as we are carrying those frequencies and as we are transmitting those out ourselves, in holding those frequencies and it rippling out into the collective. But I find so much similarity in that and in this process of ascension. And this is where the Alta Major chakra comes in as well. As the ascension chakra, all of these things are stacking on top of each other, these layers of information and layers of clues that we're being given and layers of potentials and possibilities and opportunities to continue to elevate and rise in consciousness, to rise in awareness, to align with our highest self, and to embody our self-sovereignty. But that requires us to relearn, in some cases, remember how to trust ourselves, and to work towards that if we're not to that point just yet, but to have awareness that that is the direction we need to go in. I'm trying to get my words right here, guys. It's not ever to remain reliant even on someone like me, right, who is sharing these messages. That's not the end goal. The end goal is for all of us to be aware that we can all do this ourselves individually. Now, maybe that's not, it won't be the same way for each of us. You talk to your guides differently than I talk to my guides. You receive the information and that deep inner knowing potentially differently than I do. And that's exactly the way it's supposed to be. But the goal is for each of us to, if we can say there's a goal in ascension, but what we're moving towards is being sovereign beings. And that requires us to rely on ourselves and to rely on and to trust, to believe and have faith in ourselves and our own inner knowing, because that's where our power lies. Our power lies within that sovereignty. Because when we are in that frequency of sovereignty, we're not aligned with fear, because our trust is in ourselves. And we're not in alignment with trying to control. Why? Because we trust in ourselves. We know we can control our own behavior. We take responsibility for our own behavior. We have awareness of our patterns. We have awareness of our triggers. We take responsibility for that. And with that responsibility, we know that we're in control of our own actions and thoughts. But we let go of trying to control anything outside ourselves. And when we do that, then nothing outside of us can control us. And this is exactly why, for so long, there have been so many machinations, shall we say, to keep us from learning or remembering our sovereignty. But that's truly where our power lies. So if I were to add anything to our message from 3i Atlas, it would be that 3i Atlas is here to help us to remember our sovereignty too. And we do that by utilizing the gifts and the abilities that are within each of us, so that we can discern what is true for each of us individually on our own, and go beyond any sort of potential illusion or manipulation that particular groups might want to try to put into play, shall we say. So I am honored to be a part of that path with you. And again, my purpose here is, and my mission, I know, in this life, is to assist you in remembering your sovereignty, and remembering how to embody that, and remembering how to trust yourself, and remembering how to maintain that neutrality of sovereignty as well. And then remembering and enjoying the peace that comes with that. So I think that's it. It feels very quiet here now. The energy in this room is very still and very peaceful. I hope you feel that. That's the peace that comes with that self-trust. That's the peace that comes with that inner knowing. And yeah, it's something that we all need reminders of. This is a reminder for me as much as it is for you guys. And certainly it's all something that it's a lifetime practice as well. Just as we learn a new language or we learn a new skill, it's something that we need teachers for potentially in the initial stages, and then later on, maybe not so much. So, yeah, I think that's it. I am honored to be on this path with you, my friend. And I will get that activation announced and done, and then announced in the next day or two. And until then, thank you again so much for being here. I really appreciate you guys, and I will see you very, very soon. Probably tomorrow. Thank you.